ready to explore the fairy tale side of Scandinavia. Join us as we uncover the wonders of Denmark, from the surreal, circular garden communities of Brøndby to the royal splendor of Rosenborg Castle. We will even take an endless walk on water at the mesmerizing Infinite Bridge in Aarhus. These are not just locations, they are masterpieces of design and history. Subscribe now to discover Denmark's most magnificent secrets with us. Brøndby is a surreal masterpiece of urban planning that looks more like a sci-fi colony or alien crop circles than a traditional neighborhood. Located just outside Copenhagen, this garden city is famous for its unique circular layout, where houses are arranged in perfect rings with large wedges of garden space spreading out like slices of a pie. Designed by landscape architect Erik Meigind in 1964, the intention wasn't just aesthetic. The circular shape was chosen to force neighbors to meet in the center, fostering a strong sense of community and social interaction. From the ground, it feels like a cozy collection of summer houses surrounded by tall hedges, offering privacy and peace. However, the true magic is revealed from an aerial view, where the strict geometry creates a mesmerizing, uniform pattern against the green landscape. It serves as a peaceful retreat for city dwellers seeking silence and gardening space, proving that architecture can be both visually stunning and socially purposeful. The Infinite Bridge, Den Uendelige Bro, in Aarhus offers a walk like no other, a journey that literally goes nowhere, but offers everything in return. This circular wooden pier spans an impressive 60 meters in diameter, positioned half on the sandy shore and half hovering over the gentle waves of Aarhus Bay. Its genius lies in its simple, continuous loop design. There is no beginning and no end, allowing visitors to walk indefinitely, while the scenery shifts seamlessly from the dense green beech forest of Ries Scarf to the expansive horizon of the sea. Originally constructed as a temporary art installation for the Sculpture by the Sea exhibition, it became so beloved by locals that it was re-established as a semi-permanent landmark, typically deployed from spring to autumn. It is a place of serene contemplation and playful connection, where people can stroll in an eternal circle, effectively suspending themselves between the earth and the ocean. Rupert Nude Lighthouse is a dramatic symbol of the relentless power of nature versus human engineering. Perched on the wild North Sea coast of Jutland, this lighthouse fought a losing battle against shifting sands for decades. Lit for the first time in 1900, it was eventually overwhelmed by a massive moving dune that buried the outbuildings and blocked the light, forcing it to be abandoned in 1968. For years it stood as a ghostly ruin, rising from the sand, edging dangerously close to the eroding cliff face. In a spectacular feat of engineering in 2019, the entire 700-ton tower was lifted onto rails and wheeled 70 meters inland to save it from crashing into the sea. Today, visitors can once again climb the tower to witness the surreal, desert-like landscape, where the wind constantly reshapes the dunes, offering a stark reminder that here, nature is the ultimate architect. Lake Sarvagsvatn is a geographical marvel in the Faroe Islands that plays a stunning trick on the eye, earning it the nickname the lake above the ocean. From the vantage point of the Trellanapan Slave Cliff, the lake appears to float hundreds of feet above the churning North Atlantic, creating a surreal, gravity-defying image. In reality, the lake sits only about 30 meters above sea level, but the steep cliffs and the specific angle of view create this dramatic optical illusion that has captivated travelers and photographers worldwide. As the largest lake in the archipelago, it offers more than just a visual puzzle. The water eventually escapes its basin at the Bos de la Fasoa waterfall, where it crashes directly into the ocean below. The surrounding landscape is rugged and windswept, and during World War II, this hidden body of water served as a strategic seaplane base for the British, adding a layer of history to its raw, natural beauty. Kejsardaruur is arguably the most breathtakingly photogenic spot in the entire Kingdom of Denmark, located in the wild Faroe Islands. For generations, this tiny village was one of the most isolated communities in the world, accessible only by a strenuous hike over high mountain peaks or by helicopter. That changed in 2004 with the opening of a tunnel, but the village retains its untouched, end-of-the-world atmosphere, nestled in a lush green valley surrounded by towering peaks. The defining image here is the majestic Mullafossur waterfall, which tumbles off a sheer cliff edge directly into the churning North Atlantic Ocean below. The contrast is startling. The waterfall, the jagged dark cliffs, and the vibrant green fields surrounding the handful of turf-roofed houses create a scene that looks like fantasy art. Whether you hike the old Postman's Trail for the view or simply gaze at the falls, Kejsardaruur offers a raw, dramatic beauty that defines the spirit of the Faroes. Gwenan is the windswept northernmost tip of Denmark, a constantly shifting, sandy spit where the country literally runs out of land. It is famous for a rare and mesmerizing natural phenomenon, the collision of two distinct seas. Here, the unruly waves of the Skagerrak North Sea meet the milder currents of the Kattegat Baltic Sea. Because of their differing densities and salinities, the waters do not mix immediately, but instead crash together, creating a visible foaming line of breaking waves extending out into the horizon. It is one of the few places in the world where you can roll up your pants, wade into the surf, and stand with one foot in each sea. The journey to the point is an adventure in itself, often taken aboard the Sandormen, a tractor-pulled bus that traverses the wide dunes. Bathed in the legendary light that inspired the famous Skagen painters, this raw landscape is often shared with resting seals, offering a wild and unforgettable finale to the Danish peninsula. Nyhavn is the vibrant, living postcard of Copenhagen, instantly recognizable by its brightly colored 17th and 18th century townhouses lining the canal. Once a gritty commercial port packed with sailors and alehouses, it has transformed into the city's most atmospheric entertainment district. The harbour acts as a floating heritage museum filled with beautifully restored wooden ships that showcase Denmark's rich maritime legacy. Literature lovers will find a special connection here, as the famous fairy tale author Hans Christian Andersen lived in 3 different houses along this quay, including number 20, where he wrote The Tinderbox. Today, the quayside is the perfect place to embrace the Danish spirit. Locals and tourists alike flock here to enjoy a cold beer or an ice cream by the water's edge. Whether you visit during a long summer evening or a cozy Christmas market, Nyhavn radiates a timeless, photogenic, Scandinavian charm that defines the city. Kalur Lighthouse is the crowning jewel of the Faroe Islands' dramatic landscape, perched precariously on the northernmost tip of Kolsoy Island. The lighthouse itself is small and humble, a simple red and white tower, but its setting is nothing short of cinematic. To reach it, one must hike along a narrow, wind-battered ridge where the emerald green grass ends abruptly at sheer vertical cliffs that drop hundreds of meters into the churning Atlantic Ocean. The view from the lighthouse is the definitive image of the archipelago, a panorama of jagged peaks rising like dragon teeth from the sea, with the massive cliff of Borgeren towering in the background. This location has recently gained worldwide fame as the breathtaking setting for the final scene of James Bond's No Time to Die and the site of his fictional grave. Standing here, surrounded by the roar of the wind and waves, you feel like you're at the absolute edge of the world. Gwadve is a serene village nestled on the northernmost tip of Eysturoy in the Faroe Islands, named after the massive geological scar that defines it. A 200-meter-long, sea-filled gorge, this deep natural cleft cuts dramatically into the rocky coast, acting as a vital harbor for the village. For centuries, fishermen have used the ramp leading down into the gorge to haul their boats up onto the slipway, safe from the turbulent North Atlantic waves. The sight of the emerald water, flanked by sheer cliff walls, is one of the most iconic views in the archipelago. A small stream gurgles through the center of town, leading visitors toward hiking trails that offer spectacular views of the bird cliffs. It is a place of quiet beauty, where the only sounds are the calling of puffins and the ocean crashing against the rock. Rosenborg Castle is a fairy tale fortress right in the heart of Copenhagen, standing as a stunning example of Christian Ivor's architectural ambition. Built in the early 17th century in the Dutch Renaissance style, it was originally designed as a summer country house, but quickly became the king's favorite residence. Unlike many royal palaces that feel sterile, Rosenborg feels incredibly intimate and frozen in time. Walking through its rooms is like stepping back 400 years, with original furniture and personal artifacts of the monarch still in place. The castle is perhaps most famous for what lies in its heavily guarded treasury, the Danish crown jewels and royal regalia, shimmering symbols of the monarchy's enduring power. The magnificent Great Hall features the coronation thrones guarded by 3 life-size silver lions. Surrounding the castle is the King's Garden, Kongens Have, the country's oldest royal garden, offering a lush green retreat that perfectly complements the castle's red brick grandeur. Christiansborg Palace stands on the islet of Slotsholmen as the absolute center of power in Denmark, holding a distinction found nowhere else in the world. It is the only building on the globe that houses all 3 supreme branches of a nation's government: the Parliament, the Prime Minister's office, and the Supreme Court. While it serves as the engine of Danish politics, it remains a dazzling royal residence used by the monarch for official galas and state visits. Visitors can step into the velvet-lined royal reception rooms and the magnificent Great Hall, adorned with the Queen's tapestries, which weave together 1,000 years of Danish history. Below ground, the dark atmospheric ruins of Bishop Absalon's original 12th century castle reveal the site's ancient origins. To top it off, the palace tower offers the highest view over Copenhagen, allowing you to gaze out over the city's rooftops from the very seat of its power. Frederiksborg Castle is the ultimate expression of King Christian IV's desire for grandeur, often hailed as the Nordic Versailles. Situated on 3 small islands within the castle lake in Hillerød, This palatial complex is the largest Renaissance residence in Scandinavia. Its red brick walls, copper spires, and sweeping sandstone decorations create a breathtaking reflection in the surrounding waters, making it one of the most photogenic sites in Denmark. Inside, the castle houses the Museum of National History, offering a rich journey through 500 years of Danish heritage via portraits, furniture, and art. A true highlight is the castle's chapel, which miraculously survived a devastating fire in 1859. It remains dripping with gold, silver, and ebony, and was the traditional site of the absolute monarchy's anointings. Behind the castle, the immaculate Baroque gardens stretch out in perfect symmetry, featuring cascades and monograms that underscore the sheer majesty of this royal retreat. The Church of Our Saviour is instantly recognizable for its serpentine black and gold spire that twists elegantly into the sky above the Christian Schaven district. A crowning jewel of Dutch Baroque architecture, this church offers one of the most exhilarating experiences in Copenhagen, the chance to climb its 400-step tower. The ascent is not for the faint of heart, as the final 150 steps wrap around the exterior of the spire, narrowing significantly as they wind toward the top. Those who brave the open-air climb are rewarded with an unmatched panoramic view of the city and the distant Øresund bridge connecting Denmark to Sweden. At the very pinnacle stands a golden globe with a statue of Christ watching over the capital. The interior is just as striking, featuring a magnificent altar and a colossal pipe organ, seemingly supported by two wood-carved elephants, making it a place of both architectural wonder and whimsical detail. Kronborg Castle is a fortress of immense drama and history, strategically commanding the narrow sound between Denmark and Sweden. For centuries, it was a symbol of power, controlling the entrance to the Baltic Sea and collecting tolls from every passing ship. However, its fame transcends military might. It is immortalized worldwide as Elsinore, the brooding setting of William Shakespeare's Hamlet. To this day, the spirit of the Prince of Denmark feels present, and live performances of the play are frequently held in the castle's grand courtyard. Beyond the literary connection, Kronborg is a masterpiece of the Renaissance, featuring a magnificent ballroom and intricate tapestries. Yet, its most atmospheric secret lies deep underground in the damp, dark casemates. Here sleeps the stone statue of Holger Danske, Ogier the Dane, a legendary hero who, according to myth, will only awaken to defend Denmark in its hour of greatest peril. Copenhagen is the epitome of Scandinavian cool, a vibrant capital where centuries of royal history blend seamlessly with cutting-edge design. It is a city that invites you to slow down and embrace Hygge, the Danish art of cozy living. Wander through the colorful 17th century waterfront of Nyhavn, where wooden ships bob in the canal and jazz music spills from cafes. Just a short walk away, you can greet the iconic Little Mermaid statue or marvel at the opulence of Amalienborg Palace, home to the Danish royal family. But Copenhagen isn't just about the past. It is a sustainable city of the future. Bicycles rule the streets here, and swimming in the pristine harbor baths is a summer ritual. Whether you are exploring the bohemian enclave of Freetown, Christiania, or enjoying world-class dining, Copenhagen offers a laid-back sophistication that is impossible to resist. Tro Kongefinger, which translates to the troll woman's finger, is a jagged, awe-inspiring monolith that rises 313 meters straight out of the stormy North Atlantic on the island of Varga. This slender sea stack is one of the most iconic silhouettes in the Faroe Islands, dominating the coastline near the village of Sandavagur. According to local folklore, the rock is the petrified finger of a giant witch who attempted to throw the Faroe Islands all the way to Iceland. As the sun rose, she was turned to stone, leaving only her bony finger grasping at the sea forever. For centuries, the spire was considered unclimbable, adding to its mysterious aura. Today, it serves as a dramatic reward for hikers. A relatively accessible trail leads to a viewpoint on the adjacent cliffs, where you can stand face to face with this towering pinnacle. Seeing the waves crash against its base while the finger points accusingly at the sky is a powerful reminder of the raw, mythical beauty that defines these islands. Ribe is a living museum that holds the prestigious title of Denmark's oldest town, with roots stretching back to the early Viking age. Walking through its twisted cobblestone streets feels like stepping into a medieval time capsule, where incredibly preserved, half-timbered houses lean charmingly with age. The skyline is dominated by the massive Ribe Cathedral, the only five-aisled church in Denmark, which towers over the flat marshlands and serves as a beacon for travelers just as it has for centuries. The town is famous for keeping its history alive through atmospheric traditions, most notably the night watchman, Vagter. Every evening during the summer, this uniformed guard walks the streets, singing traditional verses to alert citizens that all is well, inviting visitors to join his rounds. Located on the edge of the Wadden Sea National Park, Ribe perfectly balances deep cultural history with the raw tidal nature of the coast, making it a place where the past feels vividly alive. Møns Klint is a dramatic geological wonder that shatters the common perception of Denmark as a flat country. These towering white chalk cliffs rise abruptly from the turquoise Baltic Sea, reaching heights of nearly 128 meters. The stark contrast between the blinding white stone, the azure water, and the lush green beech forests crowning the top creates a landscape that feels more Caribbean than Scandinavian. Formed from the shells of microscopic creatures millions of years ago, the cliffs are a fossil hunter's paradise. A walk along the pebbled beach below, accessible via Denmark's longest staircase, often yields prehistoric treasures like thunderstones and belemnites. Møns Klint is certified as a dark sky park, offering some of the clearest night skies in Northern Europe. Here, free from light pollution, the Milky Way arches over the white cliffs, creating a celestial display as magnificent as the landscape itself. Aarhus is not just an art museum, it is a landmark of Aarhus, not just an art museum. The city's skyline with its most famous installation, your rainbow panorama. Created by Olafur Eliasson, this circular glass walkway sits atop the museum, inviting visitors to stroll through the full color spectrum while enjoying 360-degree views of the city. The building itself is conceptually brilliant, designed to reflect Dante's Divine Comedy. The basement represents the 9 spaces of the underworld, filled with dark and experimental art, while the journey upwards leads to the light of the rainbow, heaven on the roof. Inside, the collection is equally striking, featuring works from the Danish Golden Age to cutting-edge contemporary pieces. A crowd favorite is Ron Muick's Boy, a gigantic hyper-realistic sculpture of a crouching child that leaves viewers in awe of its lifelike detail. Aarhus transforms the museum visit from a passive viewing into an immersive physical and colorful journey.